Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on this episode, we are going to be playing not my cleric, we're playing my Shadow Knight, what am I saying? And he is level 5, in fact, let me show you how much into the level he is already. He's level 5, and he's about 20% into the level. He does have some cleric buffs on, so now he has close to 1,000 hit points at the moment, which is why when I do a Bind Wound, it really doesn't do all that much to him. But it really makes it kind of a little cheap because now I can Bind Wound up to 50% like normal, but 50% is close to or a little bit more than 500 hit points, whereas my entire life before was, I believe, around 200 and something. So I'm actually able to get higher than my full health used to be, just because I have the buffs on and I'm using my wounds. So what we're doing kind of is running back and forth between these two camps as my health goes up and as the mage that I'm with feels comfortable pulling, because at the moment, her pet is really tanking a whole lot better than I am. And she's doing a whole lot more damage than I am because, again, she's a caster. So let's kill this guy off real quick. And he is... Yeah, holy crap, we killed him already. Oh, we didn't even get any experience off of that. We just got bad faction on that one. That's interesting. Okay, so she's killing a Shadow Wolf. She seems to favor these Shadow Wolves quite a bit. And I think what she's looking for are pelts. Because there's somebody here buying high-quality pelts from people, and I think she got close to like 30 platinum for selling one pelt. So yeah, it's definitely worth it to kind of get those things. So okay, we're gonna take a short break while she meds up and I heal up. So I'm gonna use my bandages because it's gonna take me a while for that anyways. Let's see, what level is this Willow was? Oh, that's red. Now I can hit it with my weapon because I do have a magical weapon, but again, it's red to me, so regardless of whether I can attack it or not, probably not the best decision to do that at the moment. They're really, really good experience, and of course you can get a light stone from them. Some of them are lesser light stones. You can get greater light stones. The greater light stones are used in quite a few quests. He will attack anything you bring close, I think. No, it doesn't really work that way. Only things that attack her, but I'm going to go ahead and bind up just to be safe anyways, but... Yeah, you can take those greater light stones in and turn them in many, many different zones for different quests. They also give you a light source, so if you have, like with the eyes, for those of you who are not aware of it, like I can come in here and I can take this eye out of my backpack and put it in my open slot, and you will see that I actually got more light from doing that. Watch, I'll take it out, the light goes away, I'll put it back, the light comes back. Greater light stones do the exact same thing as these fire beetle eyes. And they're worth a little bit more, and they're used in a lot of different things. So a lot of people will carry those around on them. Again, as a dark elf, you have night vision. So where somebody else is coming through here, like my cleric who's a high elf, I remember coming through this zone, and this zone just being pitch black, and you could not see, you know, like 10 feet in front of you. And then I come here with my Shadow Knight, and I can see just fine. That's one of those things that... You know, it's supposed to be that way. Like, the races are supposed to have an advantage over other races in different aspects. And being evil, being a dark elf, you already have so many things going against you that when you finally get something going for you, it's pretty nice. Even though it's kind of like this random thing. Let me move it back over here and show that her pet's... Yeah, see, her pet's not going to attack. In fact, I don't even see her pet here. There it is right there. Let's bring it down here. See, so yeah, it doesn't attack unless it is attacking her. And I could maybe somehow have it aggro her, but I don't know how it would do that because, again, unless she's attacking... I mean, I could get her to have sit aggro maybe, but it'd be very, very difficult, and you couldn't plan on it. Like, you couldn't do that on a regular basis, I don't think, unless you're really gifted. Now, of course, what I could do is pull it and then feign death right on top of her, and then the creature would lose track of me and attack her. But I'm not level 9 yet, and that's when I get my first set of spells, and I don't get Feign Death until I believe level 30. So I can't do that until later on in the game. But make sure that you're very, very aware of the rules on the server. Using your mage to camp a spot and allowing the pet to go off and kill everything for you is against the rules. It was against the rules in live. It's against the rules on this server as well. It's one of those things where your pet can do a whole lot of things on its own, but if you're going to take advantage of that that process, that safety net of having your pet auto-attack things. I remember way back when they actually took that out so that your pet would no longer auto-attack anything unless you told it to. And so people who took advantage of that, people who abused the privilege of having that, eventually ruined it for everybody. And that's kind of what a lot of MMOs do, is they kind of look at a few bad apples who are taking advantage of the situation and change the rules so that those people can't do it anymore. And I don't really like it when they do that. I kind of hate when they punish the majority for a small minority that's doing that kind of thing. And I understand from their point of view, like, how else do you stop it? How else do you stop people from getting a mage all the way up from level 1 to level 60 just by, you know, sitting in there overnight when they go to sleep and coming back the next day? Because, of course, you're taking off people who would normally kill those mobs because that guy's there camping them and he's not even playing. And then, of course, you're getting there probably, I won't say faster, but you're getting there in a route that they didn't want you to use. And you know, from my point of view, I really don't see anything wrong with it, because if the class was made so that he has a pet or she has a pet or whatever the case is, then that's the end of the story. Like, they should be able to take advantage of that in any way that they want to because you've given them that pet. Now, if you want to go in there and say the pet's too uber and you want to lower the hit points so that a pet can't take on a creature all by itself, that's your prerogative because you're the programmer and you can make those decisions. But if you're saying that we don't want you to use that pet in a certain way because we didn't foresee you using it that way and we don't really agree with that style of gameplay, that's kind of messed up, because everybody should be able to play the game the way they want to play it, even if it's not the way that the programmers may have intended it to be. Because some people may find a whole lot of enjoyment in having a high-level mage that they play during the day, but then they leave there overnight. And, you know, it's just one of those things that I'm just not a big fan of, being told that you can or can't do something. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. What level is he? Oh, we got Bink too. Hopefully we can do this. I think she's going to be okay with that one. That one's a pretty low level. I think that one's yellow. No, she's yellow. Bink is red. No, he's yellow as well. I have no idea what I'm talking about. There we go. She was able to handle that one all by herself. That's pretty nice. And I don't have a shield, so I can't bash. But if you do have a shield, or if you have stun spells, the best thing you can do on a creature that's casting spells is use that when you see them casting. And you'll be able to see the particle effects, and if you can't see the particle effects, pet up. Well, back up, let pet get aggro. I don't think it is, because I'm already doing more damage to it than the pet. I think we're fine, though. I mean, I'm at 44% with close to 1,000 hit points, so yeah, I think we're fine. I think she's still thinking that I'm down at like 200 hit points where we started. Where's that guy running off to? Is there something else over here? Again, when the pet does that, it's not a good sign. You know, a lot of the time, if something attacks the mage, and then you back the pet off to go attack something else, you kill that first target, and the one that was originally attacking you has run off in some weird direction. Let's go ahead and pick those up. I don't know what those are for, but we'll figure it out. Has run off in some weird direction. Your pet will immediately run off after it, because it still has aggro. And the pet kind of follows the same rules as the mobs do. And so if you ever see your pet run off towards something, one, you know that either there's something out there freaking out your pet, the pathing, or, you know, the pathing, I should say. It's pathing. Or, I don't know. There's a lot of different variations on how you should say that word. I'm not going to get into it all over again. I mentioned in the last episode, so I think that's probably enough. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that could cause your pet to go off in a weird direction. But no matter what it is, you definitely want to be on guard, because it's usually never good. If it is something to do with the pathing in a certain area and it's running off in some weird direction, you could get a whole lot of aggro very, very quickly. And if it isn't, then maybe he has aggro already, and you should be worried because there's something out there looking for you. And chances are it's going to bring some friends with it by the time it finds you again. And so, yeah, it's one of those things that it kind of gives you that early warning that bad news is on the way. You may decide that you should go ahead and you know, zone it. But again, if you're a mage or you're a necro, you don't like zoning things too often, because when you do, you lose. Nektolus on this one, and last one we killed. Again, I have no idea what that's for, but Go ahead and loot it. I'm sure we'll figure it out. But yeah, you'll lose your pet, and the pets are not cheap to cast. I mean, not only do they require a reagent like bone chips, and mages have to have some kind of little gem or something that they can buy. I forgot what it's called to cast their pet. But they can buy theirs directly from an NPC, from what I remember. They don't have to actually find it off of creatures like necromancers do. But yeah, if you you lose your pet, you gotta spend like, I think it's like 30% of your power to cast your pet. Of course, that depends on how much wisdom or intelligence you have at the moment, but regardless of that, it's still kind of costly, and so a lot of people don't like to do it. And if you're full power and you have your pet, you can't even like reclaim it to get power back because you're already at full power. And so when you have to just cast it again, you just lose that power that you had saved up. And before you get clarity or breeze or KEI or any of that stuff, power takes a long time to come back up. And even with those regeneration enhancing mana buffs, they still take a while to come back. So it's very weird not being the main pooler and just kind of going by what she thinks is best. There's one yellow and one red, which is probably blue and yellow to her. I think we can take it though. We should be able to. Yeah, I think we can do that. So let's try it. I'm gonna let her, if we get them all run K, okay, yeah. I think we'll only get 2. I don't think we're gonna get all of them. Right one is red. Let Pank. Okay, yeah. He's gonna let the pet tank that one. I'm gonna run over to the other one and kill this guy. Now, the reason I'm attacking this other guy, one, is so that I can get aggro and the pet doesn't. That means the pet will survive a little bit longer. And 2, if I attack this other guy right off the bat, then I will still aggro away from the pet, and that's not what we want to do. So, crap, she's getting attacked. Come on, taunt. Get it off of her, get it off. And my taunt is at 3. Holy crap, that's like the most pathetic taunt you can probably have. And it's not doing anything because most of the time it's probably failing. And even when it's max skill, you will occasionally have a very, very hard time, you know, keeping the aggro to yourself in some groups that are just doing so much DPS. So it's healing itself right now, which is good because when it's healing, it's not attacking. But it's bad because the moment it's done healing, it will go ahead and start attacking again. So depending on how strong, and in fact, I'm not even attacking right now. She's probably looking at me like I'm an idiot. But yeah, when they attack with a small heal, it's pretty nice because they waste more time than they usually will get. But when they attack with like a complete, or when they use a complete heal, that really sucks. Because you may spend like 10 minutes knocking down as much life as you possibly can on that mob. You may even get it down to like 5 or 6%, and then it complete heals itself. And during the course of you attacking it all over again, his power may go up during that fight as well. So some fights are impossible to actually beat unless you have the DPS there. So there's some creatures out there who regenerate so quickly. There's one mob over in the desert of, or the Oasis of Mar, that he's a named one that spawns every so often when you kill enough giants. That I think it was 350, it might be 250. His health regenerates per tick. That was amazing. Not necessarily. I think you did most of that work, actually. I just kind of stood there and didn't attack for half the fight. Let's go ahead and kill this black bear. These buffs that we have are just unbelievable. I almost forgot what it was like to not be a cleric and see it from the other side. But yeah, it definitely makes a huge, huge difference. Let's go ahead and kill this guy off. Yeah. He's rocking. Sounds so cheesy, your pet is rocking. What am I talking about? But yeah, it definitely is taking the aggro for the most part. Let's go over and kill this guy. They're both back up again. Where did she go? There she is. Always make sure you stay with your group members, even if they run off in some weird direction. You know, some people like being the leader, and some people do not. And if they want to be the leader, let them be the leader for once. It may be something definitely different for them, and other times it may be just the old type of way that they prefer to play their class. And I was actually thinking about it the other day, why letting him heal up. Oh, okay. But yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, why some people are more inclined to be, you know, group leaders and raid leaders and officers than other people. And I kind of look at this game kind of like what it was like to be a kid, where the era that I grew up in... Oh, crap. They're attacking a wolf? That's funny. I've never seen them do that. But, like, the era I grew up in, we didn't have Nintendo until I was, like, 6 or 7 years old. And then even when there was, of course, I had a lot of brothers, so I had to share it with them. And we only had, like, one game at a time. And, you know, you would play the crap out of that game and then get bored of it eventually, because there's only so much you can play Mario before you've beat it in every fashion. You've gone back and, you know, sped through every single level, and you found all the secrets, which was saying something, because we didn't have the internet to look up all the secrets. You basically just had to sit there and find them yourself. And I remember my brother finding the secret where you could jump on top of the roof of one of the levels and run across the entire level as like a cheat. And then you'd find like secret areas where they had tunnels or those pipes that would allow you to zap to other levels. It was like really one of the cool things that they just threw that stuff in there, and nobody had any clue until you found it yourself. But it was easy enough that most people did find. But again, you know, back in that day, I had to, you know, if you wanted to make friends, and I moved around a lot when I was younger, if you wanted to make friends, you had to go up to people when you first moved into an area, or, you know, even if you've been there for a while, and be like, hey guys, you mind another playing, you know, football or baseball? Can you guys use another, or whatever the case is? And, you know, most of the time, they would say yes. The only time they wouldn't is if, one, they were legitimately full up on their groups and they just didn't have a spot for you at the time, which happened rarely, but when it did, it was kind of crushing, because it's hard for a kid to walk up to a whole group of other kids they don't even know and be like, hey, can I join you guys? But I think that's kind of one of the reasons I am able to, you know, fall into the role of just picking up a group and putting one together, because I've done that enough times that it doesn't bother me anymore to walk up to a group of people and be like, hey guys, you have any clue how to get to wherever you're trying to go to? Wow, we got 3 guys on us. 3 of these wolves. You always want to make sure they're not hitting you from behind, because you'll take more damage that way. But yeah, I don't mind walking up to just like a group of strangers and starting a conversation up, because I can get the vibe pretty. Let's go ahead and take this off of her. Her pet got that. But yeah, I can pick up the vibe of the group pretty quickly and tell whether they're annoyed that I even walked up to them in the first place, or if they're kind of shy people like I am. I definitely see that in their eyes and the way they move and the way they hold their body language and stuff like that, because for a large portion of my life, I was just that guy who kind of sat in the back and never really said anything. And, you know, when I did say something, a lot of people would take notice, because it would be like, holy crap, you actually said something, you know, right? It's like that scene in Gone in 60 Seconds at the very end, where the guy, you know, goes into his long little spiel and actually starts talking for once, and people were just blown away that, you know, you can actually speak, and you are very intelligent, and you actually have something interesting to talk about. And then people were getting upset that you weren't talking before, because now they know that you can talk, and they know that you're funny, or they know that you're interesting. And so I was kind of that guy who just, when I spoke, it was because it was something semi-important or something that I found important. And if it wasn't something important, I just really didn't have anything to say. I was just too shy. But I grew out of that. So if you're in that situation where you're kind of that same way as I was, you know, here I am on YouTube putting out videos for the whole world to listen to me randomly talk about weird stuff that pretty much anybody could make fun of whenever they wanted to, and there's nothing I can do about it. You know, they can put down horrible things down in the chat, and I imagine if this or any of my other videos get enough views, or if I get enough subscribers, those trolls are going to come. And I've already seen a few where people have said some negative things. I don't mind negative comments as long as they're constructive. Like if somebody's telling me that my sound is so off, or my voice is so grating to their ears that they can't listen or enjoy the game because of that, well, there's nothing I can really do about my voice if it's that annoying to you. But as far as my sound being off, you know, I can fix that. You know, that's definitely something I want to know about. If my volume for my voice is too low and the volume for the game is too high that you can't hear sometimes when I'm fighting, you know, you guys got to let me know that, because I try to make sure that I check all of that as much as possible. But from what I have been able to see, a lot of you guys have different speakers and different setups. Some of you even watch this on your TVs that have smart sound, so when you play it on those, the sound is a little different than it will be on somebody else's computer. And if they're using, a 5.1 surround sound, I don't know what that sounds like with the makeup that you have. So I definitely want to know. So tidbits like that, I don't mind at all. In fact, I highly, encourage people to leave that stuff down there. If you're getting tired of some lag that I'm getting in a certain zone, leave that down there. I don't see lag on any of my videos for the most part. I think my computer is pretty good at handling, especially this game, which is, again, like a 15-year-old game. So if your computer can't handle this one, it's not that your computer sucks, but, it probably can be upgraded fairly easily, considering that it doesn't really require that much graphics to run this game. So, but yeah, I play Everquest 2 as well, and I don't get lag on that one. But I do get lag occasionally on some games that are still in development, like Terratech. I was playing that one, and I noticed I was getting quite a bit of lag towards the end when there was just they hadn't gone back into the coding and changed it so that when you had an excess amount of blocks, because the game, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is Terratech, and it's kind of like Legos meets BattleBots. And so when you destroy another bot, you get to pick up all his blocks and add it to yours right then and there. And you can also destroy trees and rocks and all these other different resources, and you can make stuff out of it with your base. And you can just imagine that after you've destroyed like 20 or 30 bots, you have blocks everywhere all over the map, and if you've destroyed a whole bunch of trees and rocks, you have all those little blocks all over the place. And somewhere in the coding, they hadn't written it into it to really take advantage of your graphics card or your CPU or your RAM when it came to stuff like that. So you would have situations where your computer could more than handle the situation on the screen, but the programming can't. And so I would get a lot of lag on that, but nothing I can really do to that. They've added new updates to it and fixed most of those issues, so now I don't get lag at all. But again, like anytime you see anything negative in my videos that you kind of wish that I would change or fix, let me know, because I don't always catch it. But for the most part, I do. I try to go back and review it as much as possible. What did he cast on me? What is this? Flame Lick for 30 seconds. And I am taking a little bit more damage here. I might just go ahead and back it up and let the pet take a little bit. And the only problem with this is I can't attack. Like, I got to be close enough to attack, and if I'm close enough to attack, I'm close enough to get hit. So yeah, we got the bear. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the black bear while the pet kills that guy. We probably will be able to do this. I don't think we're gonna have too much of an issue. This is only dark blue. Hopefully I can take this on my own, and she can use her powers to kill the Leatherfoot, although her pet looks like it has plenty of life. So unless it goes up there and gets aggro, because it does look like it's running in the worst direction it can possibly go. Ah, crap. Nice save. She attacked it with a blast. That's why I didn't get close enough to it, because if I had, we'd definitely be getting attacked by those guys over there. So I'm going to go ahead and bind wound up a little bit more. And I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here, guys. Again, if you like these videos, please hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely leave comments down below. Oh, yeah, before I go, guys, I wanted to mention that I went to the movie theaters because I was talking to one of our viewers who was telling me that the new Jurassic Park movie was really, really good. And so I went to the movie theaters to go watch it. And unfortunately, when I got there, the movie broke, and they were trying to fix it. And for those of you who don't know what films actually look like, they're still films for the most part. There are some theaters that have converted over to like purely digital, but most of them are still film. And when the film breaks, they have to fix it. But it's not as easy as just splicing it together. A lot of the time, they have to first pick up all the mess, because the machine is still going around. It's on these reels up there. And not like the old style that you've seen where somebody has to switch them over every like 15 minutes. It's these giant reels that has the entire movie on one platter, and then you run it through the projector, it comes down and goes to another platter on the bottom that holds it in place, and when you get done with the movie, you just do that again. And so it's a very cool system. I used to work at a movie theater, that's why I kind of know a little bit more about it than most people. But when those break, a lot of the time they keep running, and so the film just is spewed all over the floor in every direction. And so when they finally do get up there, the first thing they got to do is shut it off, and then they got to pick up everything and untangle it, which is just a nightmare if it's gotten tangled up. Because if the film creases, it's pretty much ruined. Like, you can't have the film creased, and so you just have to cut that out. And for most part, you're able to do that without seeing any loss of picture, because there's, I think it's something like 30 frames per second. It might be more than that now, that have the exact same image. So if you lose like 5 of those frames, it may seem like a fraction of a hair shorter visually than it should be, but you won't. It's so small that you won't be able to notice that. And so when I went in there, that's exactly what happened. Is the film spewed all over the place, and they were up there for like 30 minutes trying to fix it. And I wasn't able to watch the movie because they never fixed it. They went ahead and called the show because even if they had started it at that point, the next film, yeah, these guys are a quick spawn. The next film would have been late because our film would have run over into theirs, and the next film after that, and the next film after that. So instead of trying to appease one group of people, they just went ahead and decided to appease all the groups that came out after us for the later showings. And so yeah, I didn't get to see it, and I told you guys I would, and well, I'll just have to wait and go another weekend because there's no way I can plan for something like that happening. It was just bad luck. But again, guys, I want to thank you for watching, and if you like these episodes, again, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.